Yeah, I, man. Um, I think this goes back to what we were talking about, which is like my first few exposures to music. Like, before I was into hip hop, and I was one of these guys for sure. So yeah, this. Oh, I should say this. Like my first entry into hip hop, like I get in through like DMX and Jay Z, but very quickly because I'm obsessive, I start going. I don't know if you remember this website, Online Hip Hop Lyrics Archive, and
I
like under
I think I know what it is, but like I don't remember it.
it's what Genius is now. It's just a database of all the lyrics,
It's
you know,
amazing.
all the rap lyrics. So I would just be on there reading lyrics, going to undergroundhiphop.com, doing text battles with other rappers.
Oh, you did
Like
the
I'm
text battle shit?
what, bro?
No, we got to
What?
stop. Okay, because here's where we get into some interesting shit, right? You're not the first to say it, but you're like the second or third to even mention some shit like this. This is, we're talking early internet days, so people know 2002 ish, maybe that era,
Yep.
somewhere around that. See, I'm like in grade 8 and we don't have a computer at home. So you got to
Right.
understand, like, yo, I'm in the school lunch printing lyrics off those sites so that I could take them home after and like
Yep.
memorize that shit. Cause yo, you think I'm writing down Bone Thugs in 2003? Fuck that. Old cats had to do that so I could get them on Google.
Right. 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 Absolutely. Yeah.
So yeah, tell us about text battles and all of this internet world. Like, take time and like delve into it because this is some time capsule shit where not everyone, especially the youth, are gonna know anything about what you're talking about.
It was just these forums that you would go to where people who were rappers and they would be on there like battling and trying to do the best metaphors and punchlines and multis, and it was you'd read it, you just read it. You put down your paragraph, this person, and there was brackets and tournaments, and man, I was so eager. I was sweating thinking about it all day at school. Oh shit, I'm gonna go and do my verse, blah blah. And yeah, man, you were just trying to just out rap everybody with the most technical, tricky bars. That's what I was into, and I was reading and listening to those people, AC Alone and
Oh,
Cannabis, and man, I was
you're
in
the
there, my
first
dude.
person I've talked to that even knows what an AC alone is since fucking one of my patrons. Okay, so somebody made me review because my patrons make me review stuff sometimes. So they made me review a book of human language,
Hmm.
which I found out after nobody's heard of. So it
Hmm.
was like, wow, this is one of the deepest, most complex and interesting, soulful albums I've ever heard in my life, and like nobody's heard it.
Mm, mm. I mean, I I know, like, and I can't. I don't want to say that I'm well versed in that shit. I read more of it than I heard because it was the internet back then. But if you were somebody who was on that level, I probably have read or listened to your lyrics. And I mean, from up and down, J Live and Binary Star and Company Flow and
So,
all that
so you were like
world.
reading this shit independent of the music on some like scholarly shit.
Yes, like obsessively for years.
So this is more of like a poetry analysis in a sense, the way that you're approaching it.
There is that, and like I did somehow in high school. It's very strange because I didn't get good grades, but I ended up in a AP English class. So I'm also like analyzing poetry and literature and Shakespeare at a certain point too. So that's coming into it as well. So like I
Mm.
got all this stuff swirling around my head and just like poetry and symbolism and references, aphorism and alliteration, assonance, and I mean, personification, all this bullshit, plus reading AC Alone and Tribe lyrics and De La lyrics and then also doing text battles. I mean, I'm just I'm just like trying to be the best lyricist I can. And that's all I care
Yo,
about
but you
until.
got to think about like life, right? Let's make some before and now comparisons and get like let's get extra good with this shit. Kids today's
Mm,
on some voice chat shit. They're all on that visual audio shit. Alright, so lyricism becomes secondary. I am of that generation that's super texting, readings drilled into us, all the news, the blogging. You had to read like even the fucking RPGs we're all reading, right? Like there was no fucking
Yep.
voice actors in Morrowind. That's not how
Yep.
that was some Skyrim and Oblivion shit. That was not, like so like if you weren't there, reading was like a crucial part of the entire early internet. And if I guess if a lot of rappers of a certain age would have had to rely on internet marketing in some way or another to try to ingratiate into these communities, right? So
Mhm.
you have a whole generation of people that are doing what you're doing in some way or another. For me, it was printing and memorizing the lyrics. That's still in the vein. And maybe I wasn't doing text battles. I was still writing my shits. I was still
Mhm.
consuming. It was all lyrics, lyrics, lyrics. That's what you did back then, you know? And maybe it's because the social media was MySpace and it was so text driven, and even early Facebook is so text driven, and everything's so text driven. So the lyrics are a heavy emphasis of shit. But then comes Instagram, and now you got a whole people raised on this audio visual world, and they're a lot more flowy and don't care as much about bars. I wonder if there's a connection there, is all I'm saying, because I never thought about that until you said what you just said now.
I don't think so. I think we're just old. I think we're just old. I don't think there's. I don't see this disparity in people not caring as much because Kendrick is very wordy.
Mm.
Drake is very word based. You know what I mean? Like Tara Whack. Like Meek Mill. I think is very like at least very visually descriptive. You know what I mean? Like there's I, to go back to what you were saying before. My my new idea is that songs are songs, and songs have always been songs. We've always been song based. This idea that we were more lyrical back then. Um, we were also it was also maybe a little bit colder and darker of an era. You know what I mean? But that's a crack era, and it's more violent, and America's more dark, and we're going from Reagan to Bush. So that's there too, but it's like I think everything is about songs. I just think that's what I was into at the time. That was my way to connect with hip hop at the time.
Yeah,
But
I love all you're saying, by the way. Part of me is enjoying this because you're definitely making me think about things, like this idea of songs being songs.